I don't know about you, but I've always wanted a Star Wars film or a short story, maybe a TV series that featured a Parent Trap style switcheroo where a good twin and a bad twin face off against each other, both played by the same actress. Quick, somebody call Lindsay Lohan or a Haley Mills. Wait, no, nobody wants that. What? Nobody would ever greenlight that. Nobody with any kind of common sense. Oh wait, that's what we're getting from a certain personal assistant of Weinstein and Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni. Yep, Star Wars has never looked so bad as in 2024. We'll tell you what's on the way, folks. Get ready. Get a handkerchief. Either cry or laugh along with us. Well, folks, as Lauren might say, it's deader than dead. It's deady dead, dead, dead. And Star Wars still continues to be hooked up to the machines. This time, yet again, it's going to be force-fed a femme fatale. And two of them, a double dose of it. It's not enough to have Rey. It's not enough to have Ahsoka. It's not enough to have Sabine. We're going to get some more, if you know what I mean. And we're talking about the Acolyte. Yes, it's real. It's not a sizzle. And it's definitely not sizzling. Lauren, welcome back to the channel. And my apologies that we have to continue covering this. Although, folks, if you hang in there, I think it's going to be fun and humorous. Lauren, welcome back.
Thanks.
Well, Lauren, not the last time. 6 months, about 6 months ago, we were talking about Ahsoka, and I had mentioned on the channel that some of the executives at Lucasfilm, they were enthralled with Arcane, the show that is on Netflix. It's based on the very popular video game series, and so we had discussed that, and I had said that I thought Ahsoka might follow in the same vein, and it's, the good girl, bad girl, sisterhood kind of thing. And I think we did get that to a large degree. I think, in fact, I'll just say it, Lauren, I think Dave Filoni is obsessed with Arcane. I think he loves the idea of Arcane. And now we're getting information about Leslye Headland's The Acolyte, which is coming in 2024, as best as we can tell. And yes, it's a full-on show. I think they're going to flat out rip off the Arcane premise. And not only that, Lauren, I think they could go up head-to-head against Arcane Season 2 at the same time, and that's not going to go well. But let's read the article. This out of GameRant by Lucy Owens. Amandla Stenberg's Star Wars The Acolyte role will be even bigger. Now, that's not really important to us, although this looks very Star Wars. What is important is how this is going to be parsed out, so pay attention as we read. Most information surrounding the highly anticipated Star Wars The Acolyte series remains shrouded in mystery. Lauren, are you highly anticipating this?
No. I'm trying to think of anything that I would anticipate less, and I'm not coming up with much.
Root canal, colonoscopy at the same time. But a new rumor may reveal a major plot point involving actor Amandla Stenberg's lead role. Stenberg's casting in the upcoming Star Wars series has been public information for some time, but not much is currently known about her lead role, other than the character being a former Padawan. Acolyte will also star Lee Jung-jae as a Jedi Master and has already attached an impressive list of writers. The synopsis reads, the Acolyte is set at the end of the High Republic era. High Republic! And, that's really gone well with those books. I mean, nobody's buying them, so it's good to continue in that. In a world of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers, approximately 100 years before Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, a former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. However, a shocking report from industry scooper Daniel Richtman, and folks, we think this is real, we think this is legit, reveals a possible plot detail that may take Stenberg's role to a whole new level. According to Richtman, Stenberg will play not one, but two characters. It's like Steve Urkel and Cousin Merkel. Her roles will include a pair of Force-sensitive twins, both of Sith origin, but only one stays a Sith while the other falls into the hands of the Jedi. If the rumor is true, Stenberg will play both the good twin and the bad twin. Lauren, I know you're just leaping with excitement at this. Your thoughts on the Parent Trap 2.0 with the Acolyte, the idea that they're going to take a single actress and turn her into two binary characters, binary in the sense of one will be the good one will be the bad one will be the altruistic Jedi wannabe, and one will be the super emo character. I think we may be getting, I think we may be getting Arcane just in Star Wars form. What do you think about it?
Well, this is a common trope when you have a universe that is dealing with good and evil as a major theme. You've got a yin and yang, a balance, and also a tension there, and that's kind of intentional in this kind of storytelling. This isn't the first time that Star Wars has had storylines like this. Twins factor heavily in the original trilogy, as well as the expanded universe, the original EU. There was a similar storyline that was involving the dawn of the Jedi, going back 25,000 years before the original movies in novel form. It didn't involve identical twins. It was a brother and a sister, but they had a similar kind of split in philosophy. And so this isn't new. Um, Based on that short little synopsis there, I'm guessing what they're going to do is continue to denigrate the prequel era Jedi, which I think is not necessarily a bad thing. I think that's sort of what the overall arc of Star Wars is in a way, is that the Jedi had become complacent. They had stopped fulfilling their role in the galaxy and had become dogmatic. And that's what led them to be blinded so badly by Palpatine, in addition to his own powers clouding their judgment. And it's why they needed to have somebody like Luke, who could see past the dogma and their rigid way of thinking, uh, and see that perhaps the way to defeat Darth Vader wasn't in combat, but to reach out and turn him. So it's not new. Um, I just don't think it's probably going to work that well. I don't think the High Republic has worked, and I don't think continuing to throw mud on the Jedi is going to be a popular thing either. My guess is probably what they're going to do here is have the good twin have it revealed that the Jedi stole her and obscured her true past and how she should have been with the Sith, and then she will turn and start undermining the Jedi from within, is my guess.
Well, Lauren, let me give you some more stuff, and maybe we can get you excited for Star Wars once more as they continue to lean upon the tropes from the League of Legends inspired show, where, of course, Vi and Jinx are the two female characters. But, Lauren, see if this gets you more excited. According to some of these rumors, which are coming from a source who has been rather right, and these line up again, folks, with stuff that we've heard from other sources. So we give this some pretty good credibility. Probably going to be set on Dathomir. Probably going to be Sith focused. It's going to be heavy on the witches and the what do we call it? The Night Sisters? Is that right, Lauren?
Yes,
The Night Sisters are the witches.
that's correct.
And so we're also going to apparently get a new near human species in the show. Is any of this is this jostling about some excitement, Lauren? You want to go to Dathomir again?
Well, in a way, I've thought for a long time that a Sith-focused series would actually be a good idea. I think there's a lot that you could do with that. Dathomir is kind of an exciting planet, and so sure, this is in the era before the Night Sisters are almost completely wiped out in the Clone Wars. So you have the potential to see lots of witches, which could be fun. But I would rather, if we were going to focus on dark side characters, focus on Korriban. I refuse to call it Moraband. I don't care if that was George's idea. It was a stupid one. It's Korriban.
Lauren, any ideas on how they might try to tie in the story here with where they're going with Thrawn in the future and the Night Sisters as connected with that?
Well, I think it's mostly because they are adamant that the Sith are not going to make a return. The Lucasfilm's conception in the modern day is that the prophecy was fulfilled at the end of, well, I guess in their minds in the sequel trilogy, I would say at the end of Return of the Jedi, the Sith were defeated and they are never to return. So they need a new antagonist that can stand in as the enemy for the Jedi. That's why the witches are being brought in through Ahsoka, and I suspect they'll be the primary antagonists going forward.
Well, let's go now, Lauren, to why I think that Star Wars might want to be concerned. Of course, Lucasfilm, I think, has plenty of reasons to be concerned, and frankly, their obsession that I am told with Arcane is it's impressive, except that they may be going head to head with Arcane. Just to remind everybody, we'll read an article out of Polygon this back from November, but still pertinent for what we're discussing now. Arcane Season 2 finally on its way. Season 2 arrives 3 years after the first season. Arcane is finally coming back for a second season, but not too soon. During its Geeked Week presentation on Thursday, Netflix announced that the League of Legends spin-off series will arrive in November 2024. Now, Lauren, we don't know when exactly the Acolyte is going to arrive, but we're told it's 2024. And the fact that we still don't have any kind of indication when it may be here leads me to say that probably not January, February, March, April. You get the idea. But after that, possible. Now, if it actually comes out in late Q3, early Q4, if it comes out anywhere around this, you're going to have Star Wars with its good girl, bad girl trope going up against Arcane Season 2, which is definitely good girl, bad girl trope. And Arcane is actually good. At least the first season was. And Ahsoka was not good. Most of everything we've had has not been good. There are some exceptions. The first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, I would argue, were very good. And then I think you have a claim that Andor was at least not bad. But everything else, I think, has been underwhelming. And I think we could potentially be in a situation here where Disney goes up against Netflix and gets badly walloped trying to play the same game, just with a different universe. So I don't know that this is going to go well. Lauren, if you were giving any kind of advice to Lucasfilm at this point, gosh, they're in a bad place. What would you tell them to do to try to at least mitigate the damage that's being done?
Stop. It's the only thing that you can say. They need to stop. The problem is that I think that the projects that they have, let's even give Acolyte some slight kudos here. For the footage that I have seen of the teaser trailer from Celebration, granted, this was pretty grainy cell phone footage, but I believe they're shooting it the same way that they shot Andor, which means that I think they're going with actual physical sets and such. And that always looks great, but it's also very expensive. And so I think that I doubt if we're going to have discussions about how Acolyte stood up against Arcane. I don't think they'll probably be mentioned in the same conversations, other than to say, okay, you may have similar themes, but they're not going to be talked about as though they were competing with each other. I don't think anybody is really all that excited about the Acolyte. The only thing that
wait a minute, the article said, Lauren, it's highly anticipated. What are you talking about? Highly anticipated.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a Wookiee and a leotard. I think that's the only thing that is really has really caught my attention about it, is that something weird's going on here. I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think anybody is really looking forward to this. Now, if it turns out that it's a smash hit, great. It's like if it comes out and people really like it and it gets people interested in Star Wars again, I'm all for that if they can tell a decent story with good characters and not antagonize their audience. They haven't shown me that they could do that in years. And after whatever Ahsoka was, I've never been more apathetic about Star Wars in my life. To me, it's dead at this point. I don't see how you can reinvigorate a spark into this corpse.
All right. Oh, okay. Let's just see if there's anything in 2024 that might light a tiny spark inside of you, Lord. Here are the upcoming shows for Star Wars in 2024. You tell me if anything of this is exciting. Skeleton Crew, supposed to come out early this year. Any excitement there? Jude Law is in this.
It's a giant question mark for me. I don't have a sense for what it is. I've heard rumors. I don't know how accurate they are. I think the vibe they're going for is Goonies in Star Wars.
That's what I was going to say. Goonies in space is what I've heard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've heard. And I like Jude Law. I think it's a tough sell. This feels to me like, okay, we're getting more kiddie Star Wars. I don't know that that's going to work.
Bad Batch Season 3. Any interest at all?
Well, I didn't finish Bad Batch Season 2. What does that tell you?
That tells me all I need to know. Of course, The Acolyte on the way. We assume late 2024. Tales of the Jedi Season 2.
I was
Uh,
not a fan of Tales of the Jedi Season 1. It has some fantastic animation. It also contradicted some of their other continuity, which they have become famous for doing, and it's half of what's irritating me and a large part of the fan base.
yeah, I thought the continuity issue was significant. Star Wars movies expected to go into production. Yes, we do expect in the summer for the Daisy Ridley movie to go into production, and that's it. Oh wait, we've got the High Republic Phase 3, which we've heard might be the end of the books and comics. We'll see if that pans out, but they're milking Phase 3 and seem to have delayed it as long as it'll go. Got canon novels, I guess. Boy, it is sparse. Oh wait, there's a video game. There's a video
Yeah.
game. This is sparse stuff, and I think it's sparse, Lauren, even beyond what the strikes have done. This is not much. I mean, it's hard to imagine what Lucasfilm is up to because there is just so little here. No Mandalorian season 4 coming out. As you said, nobody really excited about the Acolyte. Nobody knows what Skeleton Crew is. Uh, I think this could be. We talk about the dark ages for Star Wars, the time when things went very quiet after the third film from George Lucas. This could be this could be on par with it. Maybe it should actually go more dark at this point.
It's
Maybe you're right. Maybe it should go silent.
it's worse. It's worse than what we called the dark times. Between the Return of the Jedi came out in '83. They essentially stopped the cartoons and the comics and the action figures around '85, '86, and then things were quiet for a good 6 or 7 years. You didn't really hear anything at all, and gradually
You
they
think that
got
was
things.
good for Star Wars, though, Lauren?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, but here's kind of why is that for those people that were diehard fans, the one thing that you had that was still going that really led to the blossoming of the EU was the West End Games role playing game. And that's where an awful lot of the foundation of what became the EU came from. When they recruited Timothy Zahn to start off with the Thrawn trilogy, they shipped him a big pile of books from West End Games, and he pulled an awful lot of stuff from there. Um, for the diehard fans, that was great. They were able to tell their own stories. They got more information on what the New Republic was going to be, various ship classes and everything. For nerds, this was amazing, and it wasn't invalidating anything that they felt about the story. It was allowing them to tell stories themselves. Um, when you're producing stuff that your audience doesn't like and doesn't want, and you're continuing to do it, you're just shoveling more stuff on there. Your brand is becoming more and more damaged. And now it's at a point where folks like me are just wanting it to go away. It's like I don't even get angry about it anymore. I just get irritated that you're still doing it. At this point, you're desecrating a corpse. Stop it.
How many shows do you think they can do that are female centric? I mean, I'm impressed by this, Lauren. None of this is working, and it's not that that's a strike against making something be female led, but it's
It's
just like
all
it's
about
the same mold every time.
it's all about the characters. It's like if you give me a good, compelling character, I don't care if it's an alien. I don't care if it's a woman that's leading the show. I don't care what it is. I just want them to not be insufferable. And that seems to be all that they're able to produce is these insufferably arrogant characters that are just they are more akin to what we used to call villains. Meanwhile, they're trying to make every single villain misunderstood and somehow justified in their positions, and it's repugnant.
I,
It's why
I
these things
personally
aren't
think
working.
I personally think this movement to the witches to the Night Sisters is also brand confusion. You can do it for a while, but Star Wars really is Jedi versus Sith, Sith versus Jedi. It really is the uh, innocence and goodness of a Luke Skywalker style character going up against a formidable and misunderstood darkness that resides within, and you have to overcome that. That's Star Wars in my mind. And then space is the setting, of course, and the more rugged the space, the better. When you start bringing in magic into the mainline stories on Disney Plus, I really think that average audiences are not going to understand this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's plenty of room for all sorts of facets of genres to come into Star Wars, but you know, I think when you're struggling greatly with just the normal stuff, you can't get lightsabers right, then maybe magic's not the way to go right now, but I could be wrong. Lauren, final thoughts before we wrap up our conversation today.
Well, I don't, I kind of want to touch on that last point a little bit.
Go for it, yeah.
I don't see magic itself as being a problem, but I think you're right about misunderstanding the fact that the Sith are the traditional enemies of the Jedi, and it's over some fundamental disagreements about doctrine. And this ties into another conversation that's been going on in the online community, where there's this debate that I think is largely either made up or caused by confusion, which is the idea that the Force is either cloistered among a few strong bloodlines or requires. There's some people that say that we're gatekeeping because you have to have this enormous amount of practice to be able to access the Force. And I don't think that's really it. The Force, as conceived by George, is everywhere and in everything. And anybody has the ability to touch the Force. It's not the ability to touch the Force that makes you a Jedi. Jedi is a doctrine. It's a way of looking at the Force. And that does require training as required by the dogmatic order that defines what a Jedi is. And that's why I think some people rail at the idea that at the end of Ahsoka, Sabine suddenly accesses this amazing Force ability, and they try and justify it by having a throwaway line in the last episode that, well, I've been training off screen, of course, in a very short period of time, when it's previously been shown that she had practically no aptitude whatsoever.
Well, there's also, Lauren, there's the issue of just stupid writing. And so it's infuriating to the audience when somebody who has never had Force powers of any significance, the plan is, hey, you person I just met, and that we have the entire show has been about coming to save you and imperiling the entire galaxy to try to save you. Why don't you leap off this thing to your death, and I'll use my Force powers that we just discovered 5 seconds ago, and I'll thrust you across a chasm into a ship. That's a great plan. Let's do that, and everybody's on board. That's just stupid writing.
As from Heel versus Babyface had the best take on this on X, I think. I had retweeted him when he said, Ahsoka is a show about Sabine traveling to an entirely different galaxy to find a man that she may or may not have feelings for, that she just wants to be friends.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, she definitely needs to traverse any distance she can to rekindle that platonic acquaintance. That's how normal people work. We'll do anything for someone we briefly cared about, but not too much. Not too much. So, Lauren, I think it's in great hands. I think this is going very well. And, of course, Kathleen Kennedy's potentially her last few months or year will go exceedingly well. This is just groovy, I tell you. So there we are. Yeah. And Lauren, on the point of the Night Sisters, let me give you my brief reasoning on why I say the magic is a bad way to go. Think about it this way. What other franchise has Sith? None. What other franchise has witches and magic? Many. Maybe you should go with the thing that makes you unique as Star Wars, especially when you're suffering. If everything's hunky-dory and your franchise is rocking every cylinder in effect, cool. Do some stuff. Grow some stuff. But when you're down for the count, maybe it's time to hunker down and come up with the things that people loved about your franchise and go back to that rapidly. They don't seem capable. Dave Filoni, I don't think, is capable, but we'll see what happens. Well, that was positive, folks. We're coming away with sunshine and rainbows and gumdrops and all that, but we believe in telling you like it is. But that said, Star Wars was great. It was wonderful. It was amazing. And Lauren, you were reading some of that. It's now available on YouTube. Tell folks out there what they can find if they go searching for you on YouTube.
Well, if you find my YouTube channel, which is at Lauren Connor 9030, I have read the 3 original Thrawn novels by Timothy Zahn. I am right now in the process of reading Spectre of the Past, which takes place 10 years later, also by Timothy Zahn. I just put up chapter 17 today, and planning to continue through that duology until we finish that one, and then I'll see what the readers want to hear.
Sounds great. And folks, make sure you subscribe to Lauren Connor on YouTube. You can also follow him by tuning into this channel very often, as well as reading his articles on thatparkplace.com. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe. When you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts on whether or not the Acolyte is going to be a refresher, a repackaging of Arcane. Are they so obsessed with this that they just can't stop? The Ahsoka seems to have been just that, with the duality of Ahsoka and Sabine. Now we're going to get the same thing, except out of one actress, as they pull off an Merkel Parent Trap. Somebody call Haley Mills. Let's go. And we'll see what happens. But, folks, that's a wrap for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it's negative, but that's Star Wars today. As soon as they do something good, we'll tell you about it. We'll praise them when it happens. Maybe a long wait. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Huh. Hey, Floral. I just wanted to let you know I have a New Year's resolution.
Okay.
Although, I don't want to say it. It might be like a wish. If I speak it, I'll break it.
Usually a resolution is spoken out loud so you can be held accountable to it. Like, my resolution is to go to thatparkplace.com and be ready to see its new facelift, and to make sure I'm always subscribed to guys like Jonas and Pro, Culture Casino, Lorena Creole, John Trent, you know, all of them.
Well, I actually got Slade Wilson to also make a resolution.
What's that?
I'd get in too much trouble if I repeated it. He took it way further than I feel comfortable repeating.
Well, that's probably a good call. But, what's yours?
It's not to say anything mean about Jonas.
How do you plan to do that? You're an idiot.